Okay, I think we are live. As always, let me know if you can't hear me. I got the volume set right this time. Well, good evening. It's been 2 weeks since our last Ramblestream, number 38. So that makes this number 39. It's the 6th of May. It's the next month as well. And I've been out in, I would say Southern California, but it was sort of from the south to the middle, although it counts as Northern California. So up kind of the middle of the coast of California last week. And I will not be sharing all of that journey this evening because it was a lot of stuff, and I want to do it justice. And we're working on video for it. So I'm excited about that. But anyway, I'm back. I'm glad to be back in the Midwest. It's full on spring here now. It's amazing to come back after a week and spring has sprung. But let's get started and be organized about this. If you are a new, if you're just joining the Ramblestream for the first time, as you can probably tell from the comments, it is our habit to tell us your handle, your name, where you're viewing from, and what kind of motorcycle you ride, whether it's a Janus or not. If it does happen to be a Janus, tell us what model and what number it is, and also tell us what you're sipping on. So I will start. Richard here, Halcyon 250 number 68. In Goshen, Indiana, here at the Janus HQ, and I am sipping. I'm back to the booze. A Founder's All Day Haze. It's hoppy. And so, if you're an old hand, you know the drill. We're going to get started here, but we'll first look at some comments. I should mention that if you have a comment, post it up, and I will do my best to answer it or acknowledge it. So we got, let's see, we got first up. Let's give him his cred. Multifarious, Nebraska. He was on it 15 minutes early. Nebraska, Halcyon 250 number 1067, Cherry Coke Zero. Nice. Welcome. Good to see you as always. Scott Spence, another regular Rambler here, 250, number 212, 450, number 178 in Elkhart. So just half an hour up the road, sipping on Captain Morgan and Coke. We got Kelly Chrisman on, 450, number 236 out of Virginia, sipping on Orange Crush. You like your Orange Crush, don't you, Kelly? Joel, Old Man number 1, Halcyon 450 to 218, Griffin 450, number 1. Catch that. From Kansas City, drinking Diet Pepsi. And Scott says he's covered in grass clippings and other miscellaneous debris from cutting the yard. Yeah, I did mow my lawn. What was that? Friday? Yeah, I went out and mowed the lawn. I have a very small lawn, and I have one of those old push mowers, a reel mower. And I just figured out at the end of last season how to sharpen it myself. I would always take it over to the lawnmower place in the spring because I couldn't remember, and then it would take like 3 weeks and the grass would grow. And the trick with those old lawnmowers is that you have to stay on top of your grass, because if it gets too tall, then it can't handle it. But I figured out if you use valve lapping compound and you take off one of the wheels, put lapping compound on the blades, and then take a drill to the input shaft or the wheel shaft and run the blade backwards, it will sharpen the blades. I don't know if that's like the best way to do it or not, but it sure works. Just don't do it too fast because it'll heat up the blades, and obviously you don't want to lose the temper on them. But it's been working great. Cuts the grass like it's razor blades. Dave Bowen, 450, number 41, on the soggy shores of Seattle, sipping on a triple Belgian ale and hanging with the cat. Good to see you, Dave. Charles, Olaf from the Eastern Shore, H250 number 454, Phoenix 250 number 30, and Griffin 450 number 4. Good to see ya. Straw Dog, another old hand here, 250 769. New Hampshire, sipping on another Founders barrel-aged Nemesis. Roger Junt, Halcyon 250 number 1018, Sturgis Road, sipping on some cran apple. Jim Bledsoe, finishing cutting the grass, too. Need some roll on carpet grass for a couple bare spots, lining up shows and runs for the summer. Lining up shows and runs for the summer. Nice. Great. Bob Benstead, Sturgis, South Dakota, 450 number 230, ice cold Coke. Nice. Grant's on. Jim Bledsoe says, Halcyon 450 number 163. Our dear friend Gary, Halcyon 250 number 79, Halcyon 450 number 3, Phoenix 250 number 79, sipping on a Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Good to see you, Gary. That's me. Mark Stevens, hello from Westland, Michigan, Halcyon 250 number 643, drinking Jameson. Whit Lindstrom, from Halcyon 277. Oh, we got some low numbers on the rack now, sipping on iced tea. Nice. What are you doing, Whit? You're doing an oil change, spring work? Kyle and Jennifer say, hey, Kyle, sipping on Gatorade, riding my CB450F in Fort Wayne. Awesome. Good to see you on. Ray Gates, hello from Taylorville, Illinois. Halcyon 1055 plus an Indian Spirit, a KLX 230, and a CRF 230F. Sipping Jack Daniel's straight up. Nice. Nice collection of bikes there. What is an Indian Spirit? Is that one of the new Indians? I'm assuming it is. Raising the Sun. Great. Ahoy there. Halcyon 450 number 120 and 121. Mowing the lawn. We'll grab a Guinness shortly. That's the Felix brothers. Bob Dyke. Hi, Richard from Canada. Latest news of getting the Janus in Canada? Hey, Bob. The latest news is that we are actively working with our export state and federal to expedite that process. It is a lot harder to do than we had anticipated, but we are working on it actively. We're also looking at Canada and Mexico. So we're working on it, and we have every how should I say this? Every reason to do so, because we know there's plenty of customers in Canada that want to buy our bikes. Richard Brown. Hey, Richard. Hope you had a great ride last week. Took my Suzuki 1000 GT up to the Janus event in Duluth. Fantastic. Had a great time. The bags and the windscreen looked great. Thank you, Richard. That's awesome. Yeah, I had a really amazing ride. I will be sharing just a little bit of it this evening because it's worth talking about a lot more. It was a ramble to remember. Let's just say that. I think it's fair to say it was some of the best riding I've ever done in my life. Some of those California roads you just cannot beat. Absolutely incredible. Dave Daniels, Janus, any updates on Halcyon 450 fishtail exhaust? Love my bike, though. Dave Daniels. That one, I hate to say it, but it's in the works, but it's been put on the back burner just a little bit because we're working on some of the other upgrades. But we are moving toward that soon. We have floorboards, we have highway bar production, we have cargo rack production, temporarily on a little bit of a hold, but yes. Last I knew, we have prototypes done. We have all the laser cut parts ready. We just need to get them in production. They're not for sale yet, and it'll be a little bit. I do apologize. Hello from Leicester, North Carolina. 450. Thanks for the pronunciation. I appreciate it, Dan. 450 number 235. Drinking bath water. Straw Dog says good, looks good, and sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you all. I'm just catching up at the beginning of the Ramblestream. Michael Trueblood says, hello from Pittsburgh. Carl Mann says, good evening all. Carl's from down in Evansville, right? And he has a 450, number 39. I ought to know by now. Willard Small, 250 Halcyon 805, another Manhattan in Maple Shade, New Jersey. Fantastic. Tom Lathrop, evening all, Burlington, Wisconsin, Halcyon 250 1008, and Griffin 250 number 149, seltzer water. Steve Rice, Halcyon 250 number 969, chicken going on the barbecue and sipping a Miller Lite. Fantastic. PD, Rockwell, Texas, currently riding a Goldwing and a Suzuki 1000, sipping on a little peach tea. Glad to be here. PD, if you've not been on before, welcome, and I hope you come on back. It's great. It sounds like you got a Goldwing and a Suzuki, so maybe a smaller bike is in your future. Rev says 137, 450 in New Mexico. Jimbo, Halcyon 250. Good evening. Non-alcoholic beer here. Awesome. Brian is on. Hello from Maumee, Ohio. Griffin 250, 145. HD Fat Boy, drinking a Praga Premium Pils Czech beer. Wow, that's a long name. Hope you're enjoying your Griffin. It's a beauty. Carl says, he says, Halcyon 39, I got it. Sipping on rum and ginger beer. Nice. Boy, that beer tastes good. Number 137, 450, New Mexico, drinking Zivia black tea, says Rev. Jimbo, Halcyon 450, number 240, 450, number 240. Got it. Gotcha. Bob Dyke, great, thanks. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Whit Lindstrom, I didn't make it clear. Halcyon 450, number 277 being built on the rack at Janus now. Yes. Great. Ray Gates, Indian Spirit is a Gilroy. A Gilroy model, a 2001. So Gilroy, for those that don't know, was the previous attempt at reviving the Indian name. And I have heard nothing but good things about those bikes. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ray, but I've heard, he says, sides between the Skit and the Chief, Indian red and cream, and festooned with black leather and chrome, including true duals with fishtails. Nice. Yeah, let me know. I've heard that those bikes were really good. And I don't know what it's hard to run a motorcycle company. I don't know what caused their shutdown. But Joel Yanda, is it possible to get the new windscreen with a black canvas lower? Yes, although I shouldn't be saying that. I think we're only offering it in the green, but give us a call. Dave Dixon, Halcyon 450, number 266, Franklin Township, Wisconsin. And I think I'm caught up. Peter T. Spock, hello from Bayville, New Jersey, drinking Sierra Nevada Torpedo Extra IPA. Soon I will be updating my 250 with Stage 3 Motocult. Awesome. Okay, well, we've caught up on all the comments. Unusual. And we're only 15 minutes in. Great. We have 57 people viewing right now. And we've only been on for less than 15 minutes. So welcome all, and as is our way, we will proceed with a poem. This evening, I'm reading once again from The Fugitive Poets, Modern Southern Poetry in Perspective. I studied a lot of Southern literature in college and love it. This one is by the great Robert Penn Warren, called Bearded Oaks. The oaks, how subtle and marine, bearded, and all the layered light above them swims, and thus the scene, recessed, awaits the positive night. So, waiting, we in the grass now lie beneath the languorous tread of light. The grasses, kelp-like, satisfy the nameless motions of the air. Upon the floor of light and time, unmurmuring, of polyp made, we rest, we are, as light withdraws, twin atolls on a shelf of shade. Ages to our construction went, dim architecture, hour by hour, and violence, forgot now, lent the present stillness all its power. The storm of noon above us rolled, of light the furious gold, the long drag troubling us, the depth dark as unrocking, unrippling still. Passion and slaughter, ruth, decay, descend, minutely whispering down, silted down, swaying streams to lay foundation for our voicelessness. All our debate is voiceless here, as all our rage, the rage of stone. If hope is hopeless, then fearless fear, and history is thus undone. Our feet once wrought the hollow street with echo when the lamps were dead at windows, once our headlight glare disturbed that doe, leaping, fled. I do not love you less that now the caged heart makes iron stroke, or less that all that light once gave the graduate dark should now revoke. We live in time, so little time, and we learn all so painfully, that we may spare this hour's term to practice our eternity. That's an interesting one. I'm not especially familiar with that poem, and it definitely is intriguing. It definitely has I love the My brain's jumping around. I love the way he's talking about it as though it's underwater, and he's obviously sitting under a bearded oak tree. There's another poem by Richard Wilbur. It's one of my favorites called "Still Citizen Sparrow," and it's about a vulture and how it's as though he were on the surface of the water looking down at the land being the bottom of the ocean. Really, really amazing poem. We'll read that one next time. Still Citizen Sparrow. Make a note. It's a good one. Okay. Let's see if we got any more comments. Nope, we just have one from Ron. Evening from Florida. That must be Grant. We're both Janus motorcycles on this comment thread. All right. Let's talk about builds this week. And since it's 2 weeks, there's a lot. So we'll take a look here real quick. There's a beauty. This week, if I get them in order, I'll try to do this. I've got quite a lot of bikes, and so we're not going to spend too much time on each one. But the last 2 weeks since the last Ramblestream, we've built, this is Halcyon 450 number 261 in vintage red and copper. This is an Origin bike. You can see it has no fender pinstripes, and it has just the outline of the logo. Handsome bike in a great color. A saddle brown with the vintage red and gold. Brushed exhausts. Simple, straightforward, make it your own. That's an inventory bike. I don't know if that one is currently sold or not. I haven't checked. Next up, we have Halcyon 250 number 1024. This one, I think we were holding on to for a while and we didn't wrap up. That's why it's such a low number. This is a double pinstripe Bengal silver, which is a lovely color, and it requires a clear coat, which makes this a very shiny bike. This is really decked out. Number plate, double green pinstripe. The green and silver and gold just looks so good. Saddlebags, wide line seat, fishtail exhaust, polished, by the way. What else has he got on here? He's got tie-down loops on the forks. Fantastic. This one is Pete. If you're on Pete, you got a great bike. Next up, we have Halcyon 450 number 275, belonging to Dennis. Vintage red with copper or gold and copper pinstripe. This is a tiny bit premature because I didn't get the final picture with the logo, but polished. Look at this, polished stainless exhausts. Fantastic. Next up is Halcyon 250 number 1062. This is an Origin build. No, this is not an Origin build. Why do I say Origin? Maybe I took the wrong notes. Anyway, it's a fantastic bike. This is a classic. I like to refer to this as the Jay Leno color scheme. This is the color. This is basically looks like the bike that Jay Leno rode when we took him out. Bikes out to his show. The gold, the green, and the red with the saddle brown just really go together well. This has knobby tires. Notice the knobby tires on it. Brushed stainless exhaust. Great looking bike. Okay, next up we have, look at this one. So because you can get a frame matched color, this person decided to pay extra for a different color frame that matches the pinstripe on the tank. So I believe this looks like charcoal and not black. And he's got the Halcyon and the 250 in two different colors that match the two different pinstripe colors. What a bike. Amazing look. Not like anything really we've ever made. So this is definitely a first. This belongs to Noah. No. I'm getting them mixed up. Frame mat. No, this is Christopher. 1067 Halcyon 250. This is Noah. Number 1065. This one is a frame matched matte black with cream and white double pinstripe. So the thicker one is cream and then it has a white accent. Lovely bike. The standard solo seat. It's got the book rack on there, brushed exhaust, and there may be saddlebags added to this. This is before it goes into the next room where all that stuff is added. But what a snappy looking finish on that matte black. This is, I believe, our desert brown leather. Next up, we have, look at this one. That's a classic color. Early on, when we first made the 50cc bikes, we did all of them with a frame matched color. And this reminds me a lot of the 50. We didn't have the Indy Racing green. This was our only green. This color here, in the gold, really looks good with it. This is number 1066, frame match green. This belongs to Frank, and looks like he's got a polished exhaust, double pinstripe with gold, and then it looks like cream, gold and cream pinstripe, book rack. He's got a tool bag on the side. That isn't, the bag hasn't been added, but the rack is on there for it. Tie down loops, headlight visor, and the wide line seat, which hasn't been broken in. Obviously, it looks they always look kind of baggy like that before they've been broken in. There's a snappy one. You can't go wrong with black and gold, especially with single pinstripe. It's something really clean about the single pinstripe I like. This is number 1068, even though Ronald has put his obviously put his initials on there. I'm not sure what 716 stands for, but this is a gloss black Halcyon 250 book rack, brushed exhaust, saddle brown leather, single gold pinstripe with the 450 style logo, the new logo on there. Oh, he's got highway bars, tie down loops, headlight visor. Well done. Beautiful bike. Beautiful bike. Next up, we've got, and look at this one. These frame matched ones. This is the same Bengal silver, so this has a clear coat over it. Actually, the Bengal silver requires a clear coat over it. It's a little more expensive because of that. This belongs to Bob. Bob is a returning customer, like many of you all. And Bob has got this great taste. Look at that silver on silver logo. He's got the 450 style logo as well. That's going to look fantastic when it gets the outline painted on. Saddle brown, wide line seat, double black pinstripe, it looks like. Yeah, black on silver. That is a clean looking bike. Very nice. And then, wow, check this one out. This is a very highly customized bike belonging to our own Mark Zweig, who, if you are on any of our Facebook or the owners forums, etc., you'll see Mark's on there. Mark is also our CFO here at Janus, and he decided to be the guinea pig for the 250 style fender skirts, which I showed you all last week or 2 weeks ago, the 450 versions with the alternating cream and green, or the cream skirts on a green fender. This is what it looks like on a 250, and Mark opted not to go with the contrasting color, to do it all the same. This is a cadet blue. He went with a black airbox, interestingly, and saddle brown. He's set up the passenger seat with a customer modification. So they're not actually designed to do this, and we only do this because he's dear to our heart. The springs don't really line up, but this is something that customers found out that they could just stick a second seat on there. It looks cool. It looks like an old BMW or something. Frame matched cadet blue with a custom tank logo, painted headlight bezel, and you can't really see it in this picture. Look, he's got custom grips on it too. You can't really see it in this picture, but there's his fuel cap. It's called the Flying Z, Zweig. And he had this cast aluminum Flying Z that goes on the front fender. Pretty special. Oh, and I didn't even mention, look at the engine. He got it all polished up. This might be one of the fanciest 250s we've ever made. And certainly one of the classiest. Wow, silver pinstripe on the wheels too. Brushed exhaust. The list goes on. And is that it? That is it. So that's all of our builds in the last 2 weeks, or at least the ones I'm going to cover today. Multifarious says mine, number 1067. Let's go back. Did I miss it? 1067. Is that the one I didn't get right? You got it. Which one's the charcoal and blue? Got it. Great. Nice. Yeah, I messed up on the name on that one. Fantastic. I'm glad that we covered that one this evening. This one here. Yeah. Boy, you really went out there on that one. Very cool. That's multifarious says that. Charcoal and blue. Well done. Okay. Let's see. We got almost 7:30. Let's talk about some events. I don't have a whole lot of events or news right now. We got a ton of stuff going on, but I haven't had time really today. I've really been in unpacking and getting caught up on my emails mode today. Getting back from the trip. I'll probably be able to get really in the swing of things tomorrow. But Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. Let's talk about the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. We have raised to date $4,647. We still have 2 weeks to go, and I am very optimistic that we will be able to hit our goal. We have 24 riders, members of our team. Thank you very much for all your contributions. This is going to be a great contribution for a really wonderful cause. As you know, all the money goes to the Movember organization for men's mental health and prostate cancer research. So it's a wonderful cause. It's also just a ton of fun to ride your motorcycle dressed up in your dapper, distinguished gentleman's apparel. And of course, if you are a lady, you can also join and dress up as well. It's not only limited to distinguished gentlemen. However, if you are not a gentleman, don't show up. No, just kidding. Let's see. That is going to be May 19th. If you would like to sign up for the Janus team, we have a blog post up on our website that I would encourage you to go check out. It has links for all that stuff, and it kind of explains how we're doing it. One last point on that. Like I've said before, I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but if you are in Los Angeles and you have no intention of riding with Janus, our group here, that's totally okay. You can still ride in the LA ride or whatever city is near you, but still you can raise funds as part of the Janus team. So all you got to do is just go to the Janus team, join it, and you will be able to raise funds with us together so we can raise, I hope, $10,000 for this great cause, but you can still ride in your city's ride. So you don't have to travel to Goshen to do it. If you are thinking about traveling to Goshen or live in Goshen, the ride will be starting right here at Janus Motorcycles. So come join us on Sunday, the 19th. I believe it's like 9 or something. All the itinerary is posted on our blog. Check it out. I think it's around 9. Kickstand's up at 9:30 or something like that when we're riding west toward Granger. It'll be a couple hours. It'll be a lot of fun. So please mark your calendars for that. Talk to your friends. Get them to help us out. It's a great cause. Sturgis. I'm going to keep talking about Sturgis until it happens. Sturgis is August 1st through 11th. Janus will be there in a big way. We're going to have all kinds of fun things going on. Launches. We're going to be racing on the flat track with the Janus Race flat track team. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you've never been to Sturgis like me, consider this year as your first. It'll be a lot of fun. So the nice thing about Janus, I should mention, is that, Harley riders catch a lot of flack if they trailer their bike to the event. And maybe that's worth making fun of them for. I don't know. The nice thing about a Janus is that you can put it on the back of your car and take it wherever the good riding is. You don't have to spend your vacation getting to the place where you want to ride. I was able to do that just last week. We were able to put the bike in a van, get it out to California, and then I could ride it, and then it came back. So there's nothing wrong with trailering your bike to a good place to ride, in my opinion. there's nothing wrong with riding at your front door either. They're both different ways of doing it, but the benefit of a lightweight bike is you can literally put it on a hitch rack on your car. We have multiple customers that do that. Or, of course, your truck, put it in your pickup truck bed. They're lightweight. They're great for that. So Sturgis would be a great destination. There's beautiful riding, I hear, in the surrounding Black Hills, Sturgis, and lots of events, of course, motorcycle related. August 1st through 11th. And last of all, our ambassador program. If you're not familiar with that, get a hold of us. Let us know. We have a sign up. I believe it's been in the description for some of our previous videos. I'll try and remember to post up a description or a video, a link in the description. But yeah. Okay, so great. Where are we going here now? Let's talk about some comments. Jim Blutzo says, how are the floorboards coming along? They're coming along very well. Actually, I will show you. So the floorboards themselves are quite a success. I've shown these to you before. They are a classic Harley kind of pattern, the floorboard part itself. They're isolated, so you can see that your feet won't even vibrate on these things. It's kind of amazing. They have a metal pan underneath, and they bolt right in to your foot peg. So they'll just clip right into the existing foot pegs on your bike. The trick is getting them so that they line up properly. And then the next trick, which is why it's taking us a little longer, is that we have to make new controls or pedals that work with the floorboards. So on the right-hand side, it takes a brake pedal, and we're using another kind of ex-Harley-Davidson rubber pedal. And it gets it up and out of the way of your foot so that it'll work with the floorboards. And then on the left-hand side, the shift lever needs to be a heel-toe shifter to work properly with a floorboard setup, because you won't necessarily be able to get your foot underneath because there's a floorboard in the way. So we are working right now. The TT crew is working on the heel-toe shifter for the 450. So once we get all those parts in line, we will be launching them. We have a massive hopper of upgrades and options that we're coming out with, primarily right now for the 450, although there are some 250 options in there as well, as you know, with the windscreens. We have launched, since the last Ramblestream, the 450 center stand or service stand, which is a big hit. It's fantastic. I cannot claim any credit for the design. That's really all our own Chase Borden. You may know him he's the guy who certified your bike and built your oil lines if you have a 450, and does all kinds of stuff around here. But he's really jumping into a lot more design and fabrication role, and really knocked it out of the park with that service stand. So you are able to change your tire with it. It's fantastic. Let's see. We got some more comments. Felix Brothers say, we will see you in Goshen for the DGR. Fantastic. Well, I'll be here, and I'm excited. Michael Jody Cuevas says, cool. Awesome. That is cool. John McGarvey says, just ordered a 450 last week. Been wanting one for years. Well, congratulations, John. Fantastic, and welcome to the Janus family. I'm sure you're going to be very happy with your bike. Tell us, where are you from? Where will your 450 be heading? Charles says, trying to confirm if the G450 will be configured to handle the Duluth bags on the pipe side. It will not, as of my current understanding. The problem is that the Duluth bags are made for a certain width, and we're going to have to stick it out further. It may be possible, but I think it's probably going to be unlikely. What we're thinking is that we will make a large single-sided pannier, kind of like what the current Griffin has, but it'll be bigger than that. And then on the left side, with the exhaust, we will configure it for a Rotopack fuel can. So you'll be able to carry extra fuel on one side and a big pack on the other with a space for more pack on the back. So it'll have plenty of storage room, but I don't think the Duluth bags are going to work on the 450 Griffin, that is. I have not actually poked at that a whole lot, so I'll need to mess around with it. We actually haven't even built the first rack for it, so we need to do a little more figuring before I can technically answer that question. Straw Dog says 250 seat upgrade. You're talking about the 450. Yes. That, I believe, is here. I actually don't know the answer to that. I know I've been out a little bit, as you know, but I know that it was just almost ready to go. I have ridden it, I will say, and it's fantastic. The video I did up to Purgatory, the Ramble to Purgatory, I was using a 250 that had a 450 style seat on the prototype on that, and fantastic. And I will also say that I just put over 500 miles on the Halcyon with the Halcyon seat, and that seat is incredible. It is the most comfortable motorcycle seat I've ever sat on. I wish I had had that when I rode cross country. It would have saved me a lot of pain. It's just super supportive. I didn't find myself even scooting around on it. I just sat and I was very, very comfortable. So, absolutely. I think that the 450 style, the Sergeant, we'll start calling it the Sergeant seat, not the 450 seat. The Sergeant seat is going to be the way to go on the 250 as well, moving forward. I expect more people will go with that. Next up, we have a question from Spenjack18. Would an aftermarket fuel gauge work with these kinds of motorcycles? I'm saying this in case I ever get a Halcyon 250 and end up going on a road trip, needing to know how much fuel I have. That's a fantastic question. Likely no. The answer to your question is no, in terms of using an aftermarket fuel gauge. However, having just gotten back from a 500 plus mile trip with a 2-gallon fuel tank on the 450, and having ridden cross country in 6 days, I've done multiple 1,000-mile rides in short periods of time. I know a lot about the fuel efficiency on these things and gauging your fuel, and it's just like my old KLR, actually, or my not so old KLR. Lots of bikes don't have a fuel gauge, and the best way you just learn what your range is. And your range is going to be very close to what it is for everybody else. If you're really light and you kind of baby the throttle, maybe you'll get more range. If you're really heavy or big, or tall like me, have more wind resistance, and you goose the throttle all the time, kind of like me, then you might get less fuel economy. But roughly, people are getting around 60 miles to the gallon on both models, the 250 and 450. And so, do the math there. What I'd always do is when I fill up my tank, I hit the trip meter and it'll reset. And then when I start getting up there to whatever mileage point I feel that I want to not chance it any further, then I will get gas. I did on this trip run short of gas, but all was well. I had a little extra fuel with me. But I wouldn't overstress that. It's not really a big deal. It just means that you need to be engaged with your machine. You need to be paying attention. You can always look in the tank too, but the best thing that I've found is just look at your odometer. It's going to tell you very close to how much fuel you have. And it's a great way to do it. John McGarvey. Answers. He says Laverne, east of Pasadena, California. Fantastic. Well, congrats. That's great. Mark Rosario on Facebook says, soon, like what you guys have to offer. Fantastic. Well, give us a call. We can help you out. Christopher Bossio says, beautiful bike. Christopher, welcome to the Ramblestream, and thank you very much. Dan Rademski says, I wouldn't store fuel by the exhaust. Many ADV bikes use big and small panniers, small on the exhaust side. Yeah, you can, but you can also put it right next to the exhaust. It's not super hot, especially next to the muffler. You could do a small metal pannier there. I've absolutely seen that done, narrower on one side. But it'll also be fine with the fuel can there. They're not that hot. 250 gas bottle update, says Ray Gates. 250 gas bottle update. I think they're in production. Last I checked. Yeah. If you have any questions on that, give us a call tomorrow, Ray, and we can answer if you're waiting on one. But yeah, that should be, actually, I need to follow up on that. I will check on the status of 250 fuel bottle update. And Riggedy Alp says, regarding fuel gauge, I agree with you, Richard. My 600 plus mile trip last week got me 60 miles per gallon on Cheyenne, my 450. Around 80 miles on the trip is when I'd look for gas. Yeah, that's exactly what, except that when I was riding up above Santa Barbara, I will share that story with you. At about 70 miles, I was like, I'll be fine to make it up to these mountains. And I coasted down further than I was because it was like 30 miles up in the mountains. Okay, before much more time goes on, I wanted to just cover day one in Los Angeles. There will be a video we're putting out on all this stuff. I'm very excited about our new video work. I'm really trying to dial in a way of telling the story of a ride through a vlog. We obviously already do that, but really trying to share what it means to ramble in video form. So this will be the Purgatory ride was sort of a first attempt at that. This ride will be the next one. It won't be perfect, but it'll be a lot of fun, and we'll get better and better at it as we go along. So let's talk about day one. So I have this picture up here because, it's backed up. Good, thank you. Because this is the bike I rode. This is Halcyon 450, number 262, with the first prototype fender skirts in a contrasting cream color. Fantastic looking bike. I got stopped so many times, as you all know about that. But there was multiple reasons for a trip out to California. The first stop was at the Morgan dealer in Santa Monica. And look at the colors. Like the light is a little off in the picture, so you can't see. It's literally exactly the same. It's British Racing Green and Cream. I thought it was just so neat to see those two bikes, or a bike and a Morgan. If you don't know about Morgan, that's a whole Ramblestream right there just talking about. We should do that. I should get one of the people from Morgan on. That's a really good idea. Wonder if I could swing that. I've always said that Morgan vehicle manufacturer to Janus that exists, except they've been around a lot longer than we have. Anyway, they make a three-wheeler, which is a lovely little sporty car, and this is the Origin line 450 that we dropped off for display at Morgan West. So if you're in the Los Angeles area, in the Southern California area, and you want to see a Janus, go to the Morgan West dealership. It's a fun adventure, even if you aren't interested in motorcycles, because they have great cars. They even have a GT40 back there in the background. A lot full of these lovely vintage Morgans. Some of them are quite old. And we barely could fit the bike in. It's packed with cars. Look at this. Tiny little old ones. And there I am with Dennis. Dennis Glavis is the proprietor there. A great guy, extremely knowledgeable. He's been working in unique vintage cars for a lifetime, and is just he's a huge supporter of Janus. I've been out there a couple of years ago and visited with him and talked about doing something like this, and we've finally been able to make it happen. So we're very excited. Then after that, more automotive adventures. We had another bike in the Chuck Jones Center for Creativity charity auction. So Chuck Jones, for those, I didn't know this, for those of you who didn't know, Chuck Jones is the illustrator for many of the Looney Tunes characters, including Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. So we did a Roadrunner themed Halcyon 250 that was auctioned off at this event. And the auction was held at the Segerstrom Shelby Center, and they had like 68 Shelby Mustangs there, or Shelbys, some Cobras and Mustangs, etc. This one was especially eye-catching in polished aluminum. Look at that with the brushed pinstripe down the middle. This is an all brushed aluminum one with Carroll Shelby's signature on the front. There is the Halcyon Roadrunner with the artist. So this is the guy who painted the Roadrunner scenes on the bike. He's there, beep beep on the number plate, and dynamite on the saddlebags. He was very excited to see the bike, and the bike was the centerpiece at the auction, right by the door. I just had lots of pictures of these these Shelbys. Look at these things. Unbelievable. Especially to see so many in one place. That's the new GT40, which interestingly it says it was built in Irvine, California, which is where we were. I didn't realize that. Look at that row. Oh, beautiful. There's Woody and I. Woody was the man who delivered the motorcycle, and Woody, many of you all will probably recognize if he delivered your bike or has stopped and done any repairs on your bike maintenance. Woody and I had a blast the whole week because he was coming along for the ride in the van. So we had a lot of fun. Anyway, we got home that evening or to our hotel, and then the next morning took off. It wasn't super early, but by 10 a.m. we had made it up the coast to the Rock Store, which is up on Mulholland Highway near the little town of Cornell, and it is it's like probably one of the most famous motorcycle destinations in the world. Jay Leno will show up. Keanu Reeves will be there. Arnold Schwarzenegger on a random weekend. I mean, it's just celebrity sightings and motorcycles, and everybody is just super chill. People ride in. They want to talk to you. They want to see your bike. This guy in the middle here in blue, I don't know if you can see him right underneath the diner sign. He told me he had 198 motorcycles. From talking to him, they were all in really good shape. He's quite a collector of unique motorcycles. Ran into just a bunch of great motorcyclists, builders, and customers. There's my little 450 in the middle. This is a location that was made popular by people like Steve McQueen in the 1960s. Would ride up here on a Saturday morning and get some coffee and breakfast. These are 3 Triumphs. There was a 4th trike, all built by this fella in the back in the Triumph. You can't really see the Triumph sweatshirt under the red curtain. His name is Rocky. We had a fantastic time talking with him. He built all of these. He has 26 Triumph bobbers that he's built, and every single one is different. And if you look at each of these bikes, they're works of art. Each one has different little details, little parts of it. I was really blown away by the creativity these bikes exhibit. Then I ran into a motorcycle photographer, and he was so kind as to draw this fantastic little map for me to find some of the best riding, and we will cover that in the video that we put out about this. But Puma Canyon was incredible, twisting and turning, and anyway, I headed out, and my goal was to make it back to Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles. The Bike Shed is a high-end motorcycle cafe retail location and showroom. And I walked in, and Woody said, "You got to see these Falcons. Did you know they were here?" And I didn't. And I was pretty excited by that because the Falcons are motorcycles that were built by a guy named Ian Barry. I believe he only built 4 custom motorcycles over the course of maybe 10 years. But these are motorcycles that I want to say I want to credit them with my interest in motorcycles, and they heavily inspired the Halcyon model that most of you all ride. And so I was really excited to see these. This one is a Vincent, the Vincent Black, he calls it. It's, again, highly customized. He reached a real level of finesse by the time he got to this bike. This is lots of going on here. I won't even begin to get into the details of it, but a pretty incredible build. But his earlier work, which I'll get to in a minute, is what I was really excited about. This is a bike by Shinya Kimura, who's a very, very, very famous Japanese motorcycle customizer, Ducati, as you can see. Heavily customized bodywork, all aluminum. Pretty famous motorcycle. in the custom world. There's the bike shed. There's my Halcyon 450, and there's a customer that showed up. David showed up as well on his 250. Some artwork, Lucky 13 by a very famous Conrad Leach artist that I've heard of for many years. There's David and I posing with our bikes. And, I missed no, I didn't miss it. I made a special album just for this bike. So then we looked at the Falcon Bullet. And this is the Falcon Bullet. And I wanted to just take a bit to talk about this bike because back in 2007 is when I first got a moped. I had ridden Vespas quite a bit growing up, but I got a moped in 2007. And this bike was built in 2008. And it was one of the first motorcycles because I was thinking moped, but I started looking at things and I found this guy building this bike. And it looks kind of, I don't know what I would think of it now if I saw it and I'd never seen it before. But to me, in 2008, 2009, looking at this bike, this just blew my mind basically. Because when I thought custom motorcycle, I thought of a chopper. That's all I was really exposed to. And really at this era, there wasn't so much of what we call the alternative custom scene. Bike Exif, I don't know if they'd even started yet. Bike Exif is the famous online blog that shares custom bikes that aren't necessarily Harley choppers. It's kind of like everything else. And this machine and the way that he designed it and the way that he built it heavily influenced me. As you know, the first bike we built was the Paragon, which was a kind of a GP cafe style maybe bike, little 50cc. And that was probably the direction we would have gone if I hadn't seen this motorcycle. There would never have been I can pretty positively say there probably would never have been a Halcyon if it were not for this bike. So I walk in and I go, there it is. I've never seen it. There's the other side. This was his first bike he built, Triumph engine, Triumph frame, heavily, like what he's famous for is just going in and carving away the metal and making these unique shapes. This one isn't as customized as some of his later stuff, but just really, there he is. That's Ian Barry right there. Really influenced trends. And this is an illustration that he did of the bags for it. And I still design this way. Probably because I saw these illustrations early on. There's a official photograph of it. And there's the drawing he did of it, which reminds me of my drawings. All hand pinstripe, the pinstripe even. This is where, when we started looking at our pinstripe, and you look at the first 50cc Halcyons, this is where the pinstripe comes from. Even the colored exhaust. See these pinstripe details? The double line, the little flourishes. I mean, this is exactly what we were looking at. So, just thought I'd share that with y'all. Was really excited to see this bike. The suicide levers. A different kind of front end that I had not seen before. I mean, it was just, this is, and look at the stance. Well, see there, getting ahead of myself. The stance of this bike, look how narrow it is. Super narrow, just like a Janus 250 or 50, really. So, moving along, this is the this is the first drawing, and I just wanted to kind of show it to you because this is why this is the bike I was looking at, and this is the direction we went. And you can see the similarities. So imagine the Paragon, this bike right here. This is the first bike we built, and I'm trying to turn this into this. And that's what I started. So you can see the 50cc engines in there, the chassis is built. At this point we were called, and look at that windscreen. Look at that. Do y'all see that windscreen up in the corner? We just made it finally. What do you know? I've had that windscreen in my head for a very long time. The small saddlebag up in the corner. We didn't have an airbox up there yet. Even has the skirt on the headlight. Look at that. That's cool. Anyway, headlight visor, the whole 9 yards. It started to turn more into the Halcyon. This is sort of like the cross between the Paragon or the Phoenix and the and what would become the Halcyon, 50cc. See the gold pinstripe with a little. This is where we were looking. The little leather bag, the seat, everything. So, and there's a shot of one of my favorite, number 5. Great looking bike. Anyway, pretty good timing here. I just wanted to share that with you all, how excited I was to see that bike. I think as Halcyon enthusiasts, even if you don't have a Halcyon, you have a different machine, or a Griffin or a Phoenix. I think we probably wouldn't be around anyway if we hadn't made the Halcyon to begin with. And this machine was a huge inspiration. So it was really, really neat for me to be able to see that there at the bike shed. And I did not know I was going to be finding it there. So very exciting. All right, let's look at some comments and then we'll sign off. Anonymous Biker USA says, hello, any bikes near North Georgia we can see? Awesome looking machines. Please send us an email. You can send one to me, Richard at Janus Motorcycles, and I can put you in touch with someone in your area. So yes, send us an email and we will be happy to try and hook you up with a local owner, an ambassador in your area. Again, Richard at janusmotorcycles.com. Send me an email. Charles says, what did the Looney Tunes bike sell for? I don't know. We'll have to check in on that. Jeff DeSilvio says, any aftermarket parts to make the bike sound better? I believe there are. Yes, Moto Cult is a company here in Goshen, started by my Janus co-founder Devin. They sell a number of different aftermarket parts, including exhausts. So check them out. You can also do a slip-on. You can chop off your muffler, and a lot of our employees have messed around with stuff like that. And then Jeff says, how to add fender skirts. Fender skirts, I think they're on the website, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Let's see. Let's try putting them on I think you have to build the bike around them. You can't add them. You'd have to get all new fenders if you wanted to do fender skirts. It's not something you can just add to your existing fender. Because the fender itself is different. It has different little channels that hold the skirts on, so it's not something that you can just add to existing fenders. Unfortunately, it has to be properly mounted. Let's see if we can add. Maybe not yet. Yeah, I don't think it's up there yet. Give us a call. We can work something out with you. They look great, though. Let's go back to the lovely picture there. I like to keep that one up. Okay. Old School. Hey, good to see you. Greetings, Old School. Made it. Monday night pizza. Nice. Good to see you, as always. Has bobber in it. Yeah, it definitely has a lot of bobber feel to it. Bingro, hey, it's Bingry. Hey, Matt, good to see you. He says, I have an old Honda Hobbit over here. Also, Halcyon 250. Yes. So Matt goes back to before and after my days in mopeds. He never left, but he has recently purchased a Halcyon 250 number 154. What's the best replacement battery? I got the Motobat in here now, and it didn't make it over winter. Yeah, I'm still running my original Motobat. Somehow I think it's because I ride it regularly. But the best replacements, give us a call. We supply Earthex ones. They're pretty pricey, but there are some other options from brands like Shorai and Anti-Gravity. You just have to get the right package size that'll fit in there. There's a number of options available, and we're actually working on offering some different varieties of batteries. So, but give us a call. We can point you in the right direction, especially Tyler in service would be able to point you in the right direction, Matt. Hope you are enjoying the bike and getting some riding in this spring, and good to see you. Riggedy Alp says, well, thank goodness for this bike influencing you, because the Halcyons are awesome bikes. They get a lot of attention. Yeah, I agree. I I'm thankful for this bike a lot, because I don't think we would have gone the direction we had. Dan Ramsey says, best Ramblestream yet. Well, thank you very much, Dan. That's awesome. Roger says, do you plan on putting the leather skirt on the small windscreen? No, I don't. The small windscreen actually has a curve on the bottom of it that goes around the headlight. And I was really referencing early Brough Superiors. I think go back. I did a video on the windscreen and the flash screen, and I showed, I think it's like 2 or 3 Ramblestreams ago, and I show the flash screens that I'm looking at, and it's like super, super minimal. When you're riding, you almost don't even know it's there. And let me tell you, that thing works. Even though it's small, it really directs wind off your chest. I want to try one on a 450 at higher speeds, because the 250 doesn't really go fast enough for you to need a windscreen. I've never found the need for a windscreen on the 250, but the 450, I get blown. I'm like holding on for dear life. So I will say that on my longer ride, this last 500 plus miles, I don't think I would have been able to make a 12-hour day without that windscreen on a 450, because you can really move on those things, 75, 80 miles an hour, and the wind really becomes something over 60, 65. So, but no plans for a leather skirt on the small one. Bingri says, awesome, got some rides in already. We'll call. Thank you. That's great. Good to hear. Joel says, I agree, best Ramblestream yet. Well, awesome. The best ones, I guess, are the ones you don't plan for very well. I was so busy today, I didn't get much planning for this in. Thanks, Richard, to Scott. And thank you all, as always, for being on. We had, I think, over 70 people on there for a bit. It's great, as always, to have you. Next week, expect some more fun. We're going to have another update from the trip, and I hope maybe we'll have launched some videos. We'll see. I'm working on the script right now. So thank you all very much for joining the Ramblestream, and I will catch you next week for Ramblestream number 40. We've been around over a year now, and we're on number 40. So good evening. Catch you all next week, and bye-bye.